Welcome to Ways to Love Your Money. I'm Elisabeth Dawson, and today we're going to have a great guest. He's been on our show once before, so we had to invite him back. He's an incredible entrepreneur. He's always thinking outside of the box. He's always looking for tax strategies and things of that nature to basically make his business even run more smarter, more leaner, and more profitable. So our goal here is always to talk about profit. Whether you're a business owner or you're an employee, it's about running your personal finances for profit. This is a money show, so we're going to talk a little bit about money today. So welcome to the show, Mr. Reagan Shallal.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thanks for having me again.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Have you here, and I think that your perspective of how you actually look at business is a little bit different than a lot of people. But you've had some great successes. Do you want to share a little bit about your story that got you to this point in life?
Yeah, I mean, just started years ago. You kind of know since the last show we had. I always
we might
wanted
have some new listeners.
Well, I always wanted to work for myself.
Okay.
I tried working for others, and I wasn't a fan of it. So, opportunities came up, and I found ways to, capitalize on them.
Part of the story that I love about your kind of journey is when you were a child and you were looking out the window and said that you wanted to buy something.
Yeah, that's when I bought my first set of gas stations,
Okay.
which, it's just I was a kid and I always wanted to be in the fuel business.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to be a pilot, so the
You're doing
opportunity
a few of those
came.
things
Yeah,
now.
I flew yesterday actually.
Did you?
Yeah,
Well,
I
and
flew
that's
some
kind
to
of
my sites,
kind of a heavy subject these days. Because you fly helicopters.
Yeah,
And that's a big topic on everyone's mind.
that's a big one. I mean,
with Kobe Bryant passing and everything
that was
like that.
a total shame.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to. That was a total kind of avoidable accident, and I hate to say the pilot made a big mistake, but I think it was pilot error.
Okay.
In weather like that, getting a special VFR is not something. Special VFRs are used. I use them to leave a terminal area, fly further east away from weather, but not typically to continue to fly in weather. And a lot of times when you have cargo like he had, or high value people on board, you feel pressured, you feel like you have to get the mission done, and you have to kind of know as a pilot when to ground an aircraft.
Has that kind of changed the way you fly, or
it has not, because I always had, every pilot has his limitations of where he's comfortable.
Right.
After years of experience in flying, some get laxed on that, and you don't want to do that, and you always have to take in consideration who's on board. You have passengers, you have lives on board. You have to just kind of make good judgments throughout your whole flying career. You can't lax on that. And it's a shame because not only Kobe, but the 8 others.
Right.
I feel like it's very sad. It's a sad situation. I think it was 100% avoidable. That aircraft can fly in pretty much most weather.
Well, for you use your helicopter to actually take you to your business location.
Yeah, I use my helicopter all the time to fly to all my sites, and a lot of times I have passengers on board. Sometimes I'm by myself, and I've grounded my aircraft many times and said, "Hey, I'm not flying today." I've told my passengers before, "Guys, we're not going, or we're driving."
I've been a passenger on your helicopter.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. You've been on the helicopter before.
Now I'm a little bit more nervous, but it's also about the character, I guess, I'm flying with.
I completely forgot about that. Did you guys have a good time?
Oh, we had a great time.
Okay,
we had a great
good.
Time.
Yeah, I have so many people throughout the years
Sure.
said, "Do you remember when we flew to Vegas, or do you remember when we flew to LA that night?" And I'm like,
really?
I didn't even know you flew with me, because it's been 19, 20 years of flying.
But it's been a game changer for you to have that helicopter to take you to your business locations, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a big game changer as far as not only has it allowed me to grow. I'm in the Southwest U.S. now, so I can be in multiple states.
Okay.
I can be so much more productive, and at the same time, I have big time tax savings out of it.
Right. We want to talk a little bit about that, because you've been doing something with your businesses this year, or last year, I should say, even maybe the year before that you started with.
Yeah, I'm doing things now that I had always promised myself I wouldn't do, like development. I always said I would never develop, and now I'm developing.
And now you're developing. Never say never, right?
Yeah, I know it, and I really had always said I would never develop. So I have a lot of friends now saying, I thought you would never develop, you know?
Well, something pointed you in that direction. So.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the current administration and their tax code changes, you know, stuff was signed in October of 2017 by Trump that has now, in a way, forced business people to continue to grow. And if we don't grow, to continue to contribute to the economy and create jobs, we're going to be penalized on the tax side of things pretty heavy. So a lot of people do not understand tax codes.
Right.
They don't. They just think, oh, here's a wild guy on TV, doesn't know how to act. We all understand that.
Sure,
We know he's a nutcase, which is, hey, you know what?
But you're
It's
grateful
okay.
for the opportunity.
Yeah, of course, you know. But guys like me who have to stay up on top of the changes,
Sure.
if we don't, we really are out big time. And then it costs jobs. So by staying up on these new tax codes, taking advantage of them,
Sure.
is forcing a guy like me who didn't want to grow, didn't want to get any bigger, to grow now and contribute to the economy. And so what does that mean? It means more jobs, right? That's
How
what
does
it
that
means.
make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel good that I am contributing to the American dream, or having people, you know, to create jobs is always nice,
Sure.
right? I wish there was other ways around it, because I'm trying not to do as much.
I know when
But,
we talk, we're like, oh my gosh, you know, Reagan, when is enough enough?
I know. I mean, you know my whole life story, and we get together from time to time. There's always so many changes, and we got to
Sure.
update everything. In fact, we have a meeting today, right after
We
this.
do.
But hey, you know what? It's okay. The way I look at it is, I will continue to grow, but instead of taking more on personally, I am bringing others on at higher level positions,
Okay.
at much higher pay than, say, just your entry level position.
Sure.
And those people are running it.
Okay.
So in a way, it doesn't just contribute to lower level income earners. It also brings on people who are making those 6-figure plus salaries that can.
Well, and one of the things that we were talking about before you came in today was cost segregation planning. And
Yeah.
the average consumer doesn't necessarily know that, and a lot of business owners don't know it if they're not staying on top of it.
Oh, I can tell you that probably 90% of CPAs don't even understand it fully. You know, I hired.
We talk
a
about
special-
pensions, and you know, which
Yeah.
we do, and a lot of people don't. A lot of CPAs don't understand that either.
There's a lot of attorneys who don't understand cost segregation. There's a lot of big business people who had no clue that this was signed into play
Sure.
a couple years ago now.
They're still trying to play catch up.
And and I didn't know about it either. And I had to have a fight with my accountant over the phone to say, listen to me, I'm flying this guy in from New Mexico. I hired a company. He came in. He sat with 3 of my accountants. We sat in a room, and when the meeting was done, an hour and a half later, he walks out, and my accountants are like, wow, this is the case.
Yeah.
You might as well keep growing. I mean, we didn't know, you know. So
what did they kind of tell you? What were your opportunities?
Well, the thing is this. Let's just say we're going to use my field. I'm in the fuel business, and now I'm developing
In the
a car
land
wash.
business now, yeah.
Yeah, well, I own a lot of real estate, you know that. And so a building typically, I'll give you guys an example. You have a building, the government puts it on a 39-year depreciation cycle.
Okay.
And for easy numbers, we're going to use $1 million building.
Okay.
$1 million piece of property you buy. Let's just say, I'll use my field. It's a gas station.
Okay.
And it's $1 million, which we know stations are in the millions, but
Sure.
for easy mathematics. After October of 2017, anything purchased after that is an automatic bonus depreciation. So anything that falls under a 15-year depreciation cycle qualifies now on a 1-year depreciation.
Oh, all at once.
All at once.
Okay.
So what does that allow you to do? So let's say you have $1 million, you take the land value out of it, leaves you with $800,000. $800,000, you can take that whole depreciation within 1 year. We could save on our income taxes, but since you used it all, you now have to use that money, your tax savings, to continue to either acquire,
Okay.
whether it's distressed property or whether you're going to develop. And I'm acquiring and developing because I'm at a pace right now where I just have to buy at such a rapid pace or develop at such a rapid pace. So what does that do in turn? It creates jobs, right? So
Puts people to work.
correct. Now these are eventually going to expire, these tax breaks. But by then, by 2025, yeah, I might have 200 or 300 more employees. You see? So the current administration has done some amazing things to really, really continue to have this economy grow, grow, and grow. There's one thing I can tell you. It's a shame that most people don't give President Trump the credit he deserves because most people aren't into business or they don't understand the things he's doing behind the scenes. Guys like me do understand, and a lot of people I do business with that do big business fully understand it. But you can't deny the facts of what's going on. How is our economy?
Right.
It's at the greatest it's ever been, right?
Greatest it's ever
You
been.
can hate him all you want, which is fine. I get it. But you can't deny the truth.
It's made a big change.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things I've noticed also. There are a lot of pocket supporters out there who in public they'll say, they might hate him, but when it comes to the voting box, they vote for him.
Well, with that change in the tax law, and because you're such a predominant business owner, and you've had a business structure of how you've designed your success, did you feel like you had a responsibility to do even more to kind of build the economy or build more jobs?
I would probably be lying if I said yes.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we're all about taking care of ourselves first.
Okay.
Or at least you should be.
That's a fair
right?
and honest answer.
Yeah. If I said, geez, I just want to help the world, no, I got to take care of myself first before I'm able to help anybody else. Do you agree?
Agree.
Yeah.
Because then you can't continue to help anybody else.
No,
Sure.
you can't.
Yeah.
And the more successful I am, I think I can do more. And if I'm given the tools to do those, to do what I need to do, is when I can help others and create,
How do you want to help others? What do you want to do?
Well, there's a lot of things that I believe if you do, or, I read the Bible years ago when I was really down in my life, and they say never talk about the things that you do, because it's just,
Don't be boastful.
Yeah,
Don't
so
be boastful.
there's a lot of things I do.
I've never
There's a
gotten
lot
that
of,
impression out of you, though, that you're
yeah, but it's
boastful.
just not. But there's so many things that I like to do that make me feel good, especially for kids in areas that are, underdeveloped areas. I'll give you one example of what we recently did over in Ocotillo, California. There's like 80-something kids in that community, 83 or something, and they needed backpacks. They needed so I told my management,
Back
hey,
to
you know
school
what?
supplies,
Give
all
them
that.
everything for the whole year. And
Wow.
and
I know
the
we
sheriff's
talked
department was
about
so.
that, yeah.
I think we did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did talk about that.
And there's stuff we do out there for museums and stuff, and but stuff like that.
Well, I think that's where we even talked about a conversation about possibly even creating your own little foundation so you can give back. But maybe that's coming in the future. I mean, you're
maybe in
still
the
a young
future.
guy.
I'm trying not to do anything here. I'm trying to relax
Hey.
and.
Just dictate where you want your tax dollars to go. That's what
Yeah.
it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
No, you're doing an amazing thing for not only our community here in San Diego County, Imperial, but you're going now to Vegas, and so this big land development. What are you going to do there?
Well, I bought some property in Vegas. This comes in with this development thing. In the fuel business, it's getting a lot harder to acquire the way I used to acquire. The prices have just skyrocketed,
Okay.
and financially it really doesn't even make sense to purchase them, so I'm moving now towards the development. An opportunity came up for me to buy a really amazing piece of property next to a very beautifully built mega Arco.
Okay.
So I bought just under 2 acres there, and I'm developing one of the most state-of-the-art car washes in the world. I mean, this is a 130-foot tunnel, okay, with 46 vacuums. And I never wanted to be in the car wash business, but here I am now building a car wash. And the real reason for me building this is it's going to end up saving me, over $2 million in taxes.
Wow.
Now, I would never do this if I didn't have those savings. But by doing that, I'm creating a lot of jobs too, right? So there's going to be multiple people running it. There's going to be several high-level people running it. And more than likely, from what I'm seeing through the process, and by the way, the current tax plan, you benefit more in areas that are lower income.
Okay.
So the city is making it a lot easier for me to build there because they see a developer coming in, putting money into an area that is a medium to lower income area versus a wealthier area. We don't get the same tax breaks. If I put the money into La Jolla, I'm going to get very little a tax break out of it because they base it based on property value versus the building. Well, property values are low where I'm building, so the majority of the cost is the structure. So if there's a $4 million cost on the structure versus and $1 million property, you get on the $4 million break versus La Jolla, you might have a $5 million property value and $1 million structure.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and then it goes into kind of building the economy of that little area.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So that's why I really like the North Las Vegas and making it a lot easier for me to develop this on an expedited pace, and it's going to create a lot more jobs. And I'm seeing a whole new branch that I'm going to have to create here and continue to grow in the meantime.
So when you do that project, do you see another project in the
Yeah, I already see that.
Because I know at one point you were looking at a hospital.
I looked at a medical building and stuff. I never pulled the trigger on that one. It just didn't make sense. Those type of buildings don't have the same types of cost segregation, accelerated depreciation plans in place for them. So I have to stick to those that give me the accelerated depreciations.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, but only there's only certain things that qualify.
Sure.
For
so what are some of the things that qualify?
Well, everything does qualify for it, but it depends on how much of a rapid pace. Like anything that has an automatic 15-year cycle goes to 1 year. Anything that's above that 15, studies have to be done by companies that do these studies.
Sure.
And then they basically take, for example, they'll even take doors on a company in your building or even crown molding on a building, and they'll say, well, that's not going to last 39 years. We know that will last 7 years. A door will last 10. And they'll take all these items and they'll give you a new schedule for them. So instead of waiting 39 years to depreciate it, you might be able to get it in 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what I'm specializing in is getting the 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's because
So
I need the
what if you don't use it all in 1 year?
You can carry it over. Yeah, absolutely.
How many years do you have?
I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think there is a limit on how long you can carry it forward that I know of.
You mentioned something earlier that was kind of interesting, that if you do this cost segregation, you create these big benefits that come to you, then you're kind of in a position where you have to reinvest them?
You have to.
Okay.
If you don't, and which brings me to everybody always thinks, oh my God, they're doing it for the rich. No, that's not the case. Because if we stop, we will absolutely get murdered. So we have to continue to grow and take advantage of these plans that are in place by the current administration.
Okay.
We have to grow.
Okay.
And another thing, though, these can be dangerous for entrepreneurs also, because another thing that I'm doing is I'm staying as lean as possible debt-wise.
Okay.
And I think everybody out there should be very cautious, even though our economy is doing so well.
Right.
Don't go out there and buy motor homes and finance 6 cars and have a vacation home. Stay lean. Live within your means. Just because you're making more doesn't mean you need to spend more.
Like
that's
the
problem
show,
with
Ways
people.
to Love Your Money. It's a respect for money, but how to do it the
Take
best
the
way.
money, put it in retirement. Save it. Invest that money with people like you. I mean, look, if I invest with you, there's a reason, right? I mean, why do we do our tax planning? We do it, you and I do a lot of stuff together. I mean, I know how to invest, but there's things I can't do, and that's why I see
There's
you
a
for it.
professional for everything.
Of course. There's no such thing as everybody knows everything.
No.
No way.
Can't.
Right? Why do I sit with you? Why do I sit with specialists and accountants and attorneys?
For most of our business owners, it's all about tax mitigation.
That's what it's about.
Whether it's doing cost segregation, which I think a lot of our business owners out there don't even know it exists.
No, they don't.
Because they're not necessarily paying attention to it.
No, they
Just
don't.
like you said, you could talk to probably about 50 to 100 different CPAs, and maybe 10 or 15% might know about it, or you have to educate them.
Yeah. I mean, my business partners are all so happy. I do business with multiple people. They just can't believe the things we're doing now.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, it's amazing.
So what would you tell the business owner out there right now? What would you tell them to do? Or where to get started? How they should start?
As far as the business, well, let me tell you.
Well,
First, I'll address the typical public. Like I said, save your money. Don't go blowing it all.
Yeah.
Put more into retirements right now.
Sure.
Save your money. Don't go, like I said, buying cars and all that.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the business owner, I think the majority of business owners don't understand. They need to do their research. They need to understand these new plans in place and take advantage of them, because it's not publicized anywhere. People don't know these things. And there's no special place to go and say, hey, you know, what was signed on that bill? I mean, these tax bills are
Well, you could probably just Google
10 feet
cost
tall.
segregation, but
yeah, but nobody even hasn't even heard of it.
Yeah.
So how do you know what to Google? Like when I was in school, you know, I'm a high school dropout. They used to tell me, hey, I used to say, hey, how do you spell island? You know, I didn't know how to spell island. I didn't know how to S in it. They say, look it up. Well, if I don't know how to spell something, how do you look something up? I always thought it was Island. You know, I never knew that.
Well, that's where you're humble, right? You have humble beginnings. You know, you've
Yeah,
done
I
well.
was
You've done well even in adversity. So you've done amazing things.
Yeah, you just don't know where to look for these.
Sure.
You know, where would
Sure.
somebody?
Well, I even had an interview with a young girl about a week ago here. I'm 13 years old, and you know, life is just kind of beginning. But that's one of the things, they don't teach life skills in school. They
No.
don't teach life skills. We should be teaching from our babies of kindergarten age all the way through college, but they don't even talk about it.
Look,
even,
they don't
even
teach you.
certain
They don't
things to
teach you
think
real
about.
world.
Yeah.
They can't put you in real world
Yeah.
situations. You know, I think our whole school system needs to be revamped, and because well, I mean, when was that designed? You know, how many
Yeah.
years ago?
Yeah.
I don't think it's changed with the times and
Yeah.
adapted to what's really going on in this
Right.
world.
Well,
know?
even for your ideas, because they started when you were a little boy,
Mm-hmm.
looking out the car, saying, I'm going to own that gas station one day.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a powerful metaphor, but if you believe it, it will happen.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
Yeah.
if you believe it, those things will occur. But having the ability to kind of even talk to someone, we talked on your first show about mentorship and how amazing mentorship was for you.
Yeah.
If you don't have those right mentors or a place that you can kind of learn and grow these, you know, ideas, knowledge, and expertise to be able to make it successful, you know, maybe your first deal, maybe it wasn't as successful as you wanted it to be, or maybe you just started right out from the, you know, start
Yeah.
very successful.
Yeah.
But everybody has their own path. And money for most people, the reality is money is a big anxiety conversation.
Oh, big time. Yeah. For most
Big,
people,
big.
that's a big situation. You know, another thing. Look, if somebody has drive, you'll always succeed.
Yes.
If you have that drive, you have that passion, I don't care, no matter what, you will eventually succeed.
Yeah.
Another thing I have to hand it to, believe it or not, is you know how there's all these YouTube channels
Sure.
going on and stuff? They're actually a good thing. Some of them I can understand they're a total waste of time looking at certain, you know.
My husband looking at all the trucks and everything in the world.
Well, like I watch a lot of car-based shows.
It's helpful for him.
Yeah, I watch a lot of shows like Daily Driven Exotics is, you know, I know the guys, and I tell them, I said, do you know the drive you create with these kids and even adults, it gives people that drive to want to become successful.
Sure.
They see them driving around in fancy cars, they see them in Lamborghinis and Ferraris and all that, and it tells these kids, hey, how do I become successful to get that? And
Sure.
it gives them proper drive. That's the drive they need.
So would that be your best advice, is to say,
Yeah, I'm
be
not going to say
driven?
go watch, well,
No,
driven,
but
yeah,
be
I'm not going to say
driven.
watch YouTube all day long.
No, but to be driven about what you're passionate
Yeah,
about.
of course. And the problem is a lot of kids these days, they don't know what they want to do. And they go through college, and then they finish college, and or, you know, they're almost about to graduate, and do you know what you want to do? No.
Yeah.
Well, why'd you get your degree? Oh, I don't know. You know, it's something to do. They're scared to face the real world, or their parents say, oh, I just got to have my kid to have that degree. I want to put it on the wall,
Sure.
you know. You gotta have passion.
Sure.
You gotta, you know, try to figure out at a younger age what you want to do. Find out what you really love, and then pursue that. You gotta love what you do.
Well, that's again why I love that conversation we first initially had about mentorship, because when you find something you really want to do and you become passionate about it and you want to be driven about it, it's kind of finding out the experts out there that can help you achieve those goals.
But there's so much out there now that it's so easy to get that information. I mean, you know, when you and I were growing up, we didn't have all this Google stuff and all of that. Now, kids can say, well, I think I want to be an astronaut, and we'll Google it. You know what I mean? We'll figure out a way to do it.
We had a family that said their child wanted to be a YouTube star. I'm like, wow, okay. That's a complete difference today.
But you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
No. I actually know guys making millions of dollars a year on YouTube. You know?
Yeah.
They're making
We
enormous
have our
amounts
own
of money.
YouTube channel, but I can't say we're making millions off of it yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have millions of
It'll
viewers
come.
worldwide, so it'll come. I don't think you're doing it for the money, but...
Well, one of the things that I always say, if you're doing something you love, it's really not a day of work.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's
Yeah.
like me. You know, my partners laugh at me all the time because I'm in my pajamas till 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Today was the most stressful day for
Getting
me.
ready for this?
Oh, my God. Today was the most stressful thing. I had to call Steven, actually, today and say, Steven, what do I wear? I said, you know, because me, I'm a bum. You know me.
No, it's fine.
Normally, I'm a jeans and T-shirt guy,
Yeah.
and today I had, and then I show up and you tell me, oh, we're trying to make it more casual.
It's okay. Just making it a little bit more
Yeah, so
appealing
today
to
I even
everybody
brought my
watching.
glasses just to look
Well,
smarter
good.
in case
Well,
I need to
if you
put them
want to
on.
put them on, by all means.
Yeah, so, but that's how.
Well,
you
I
know,
love when you always share your passion about what you do and even the new things that are kind of opening your eyes to that you said, gosh, I would never thought I'd be a developer, but now I am.
Yeah, never thought it in a million years.
But it's probably about pulling all the right professionals in there so that
Yeah.
that you can get the job done.
Oh, yeah, and there's people out there, look, I don't know anything. I don't know the first thing about development, right? But I know how to hire somebody.
Yeah.
And I hired, the right people that are handling the whole project. Okay? Now, thank God I'm in a position where I could do that. I built myself to that. There was a time, I used to work for $9 an hour, right? But now I can pay people to do things, and I'm able to go outside my personal comfort zone, hire people who specialize in these things, and they'll take care of it.
So that's a great thing that you just said. How did you get to a place where you got outside your comfort zone with actually developing, for the first time? Yeah.
To get outside your comfort zone, you need to get to a certain financial level to be comfortable to where you can take those risks, right?
Okay.
You can't just go and start doing that without having the money or having any type of backup. If my project fails, hey, you know what? Cool, it failed.
Okay.
We still saved
okay.
it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll get by somehow, and I'll still get my tax breaks.
Sure.
But
Well, hopefully it's successful. I don't
yeah,
have
I
any
don't
doubt
think
in my mind that it won't
I don't think it'll fail. I hope
Yeah.
not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But as long as you win more
Well, a lot
times
of
than you
it
lose,
creates
you'll be all right.
courage, right?
Yeah,
Resources create
of
courage.
course.
Yeah.
And you do your homework, right? And you bring on the right experts to look at a project before you do it. Don't go in there like a cowboy and say, I can make this happen. You don't know the first thing about it. Get the right people involved.
Right.
I didn't know anything about. I didn't know that a car wash can go through a tunnel and be washed 6 times.
Oh,
Did you
wow.
know that?
I had no idea.
I didn't know. I'm building a
Had no idea.
130-foot
We
tunnel.
just want one of these gas stations here in San Diego.
Yeah, this is actually no fuel on this one. This
Really?
is strictly a 130-foot tunnel car wash. But you get educated in a new field that you're going into. I didn't know the first thing about car washes, but I hired the right people, and I'm learning as I go.
Right. And you're in a position where you can take that risk.
Yes, I'm in a position, and thank God I've got great friends like the
Sure.
owner, the CEO of Soapy Joe is a good friend of mine, and I can always call him and say, hey, am I doing this right? And he guides me, so I got to thank him for that. Thank you, Lawrence.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you decided to come back on the show. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And I mean, we always have fun when we have our conversations anyway.
Yeah.
But this is a great opportunity for us to be able to explain to, our listeners out there that if you're an entrepreneur and maybe you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, it's about starting with the basics. Get to a place of where's your passion, where's your drive, motivate yourself, get educated about tax law, see how that benefits you or doesn't benefit you as a business owner, and grow your knowledge because, take advantage of these opportunities. This is something where I'm sure people have questions about this interview, and if you want to reach out to us at any time with questions, send us an email at questions@Elisabeth.Dawson.com. We would love to, basically give you a passion to be able to take a calculated risk where you're not doing something too big too fast, but you're building and you get your resources so that you actually have the expertise to get you through and make it a success. Again, mentorship is a huge part of this out there in the world, so make sure you have the right mentors or go to the right experts out there so that you can actually have a better way of getting this accomplished. And again, professionals are different. There's a professional for everything. So if you need someone in the financial arena or you even want to have some questions that you want to ask Regan, by all means, send us that email at questions@Elisabeth.Dawson.com. Again, if you want to reach out to a financial professional here and we want to talk to you, 619-640-2622. We look forward to our conversation. Take care. The information provided in this show is for informational and educational purposes only. This show is not investment advice, nor is it intended to address the financial needs of any particular viewer. The opinions expressed on this show are not intended to be an endorsement of any particular investment strategy or service of any other kind. You must make an independent decision regarding investments or strategies mentioned throughout the show. Before acting on information in this show, you should consider whether it is suitable for your particular situation and strongly consider seeking advice from a financial advisor.